Thank you very much. Well, I was saying to Brian that I was very grateful about his speech this morning because many of the things that he exposed is completely aligned with the point of view that I want to explain here. So, keeping in mind all that he shared, so I have more time now, and well, I will talk about this dialogue platform about one of the most paradigmatic conflicts in eco-social conflicts in Spain, like it's the coexistence of extensive livestock and the Iberian wolf. Well, to make a small background. Oh, yeah. Yes, as you know, the wolf population is growing. This is a conflicted, well-known conflicted, very mediatic, with some economical impact. And I will say something else and more important. We think that it reflects very well another huger conflict or wider conflict, like it is the rural and urban understanding conflict. There have been many different projects, initiatives, and measures adopted, but it seems that they doesn't work so well because the conflict remains and is getting more and more polarized. Never the management has been very participated, so this is the framework of the conflict, the background, and well. We are in front of this conflict, and the Entre Tantos Foundation, which is a foundation worried about wildlife conservation, but worried also about the extensive livestock way of life conservation, because we think that there is also great economical, environmental, and social values hiding here. We have these two parties in our heart, we could say. So we consider that we could be a good actor to run a mediation initiative, since we have the trust from both parties about our conviction of the importance of both needs. So, well, this is a very complex, socially based, multidimensional and polarized conflict. You can see this net of actors, all connected among them with different conflict relations. And this is really a cocktail of social conflicts. There are many different interests. Well, they are interrelated among them with different levels. And we are talking about conservation, communication, ecology, animalism, economics, hunting management, livestock, land management, and we call continue. So, this is very important, not to simplify the conflict. We want wolf or we don't? Do we want extensive livestock or we don't? Well, it's more complex than that. This is just a kind of mirror of what is happening in these urban and rural relations. So, this very complex, socially based, multidimensional and polarized conflict converges in rural areas. So wolves, although they play a role in the global problem, are just one more element of this underlying conflict. And even it's true that it is very, very complex, the conflict, but we could say that there are two parties, very polarized, and this not dialogue and meeting was putting in risk not only the wolf conservation but also the future of the rural areas. So we have to have into account also that the wolf has enormous symbolic power in both parties, and they took it as a flag for defend different positions. So if we check the escalation of the conflict from pain to physical violence, where we give pass from many different steps, growing, we could say that in Spain, in some of the areas, we are here. Okay? we are arriving to personal threats and a lot of pain of people from the different sectors. We are not talking about only conservationists or only farmers, researchers. Everybody is hurted somehow, and I think this is something that we always have to be in mind. We are talking about something more than money or power positions. It sometimes has to be with even ethical and moral and a cosmovision of life. So we are touching very sensitive questions. What are the characteristics broadly? 5 minutes already? Okay, I will run. I didn't expect this. I was trying to be calm, but okay. This is to simplify a little bit, which is the starting point, but we saw that, we have this sensational press, the wolf is a symbol, people doesn't trust always in the data, in the objective data, the compensation policies don't help, prevention measures not always resolve the problem. We have two fronts, very polarized, and going to the streets to say what they want. And we have the great question: is really conceivable extensive farming with wolf? So our proposal is problems go beyond the wolf, therefore solutions should be more ambitious. So of course we do not intend to solve the wolf problem, but at least trying to decrease this social environment so angry and polarized and so on. So we were looking for development agreements among all the stakeholders, and we started a social mediation initiative, convinced that there wouldn't be any solution if not every actor will be involved in the policies, a need that the dialogue can only be undertaken if actors involved agree, and a premise that we need to understand the complexity of the conflict. We cannot simplify. Sorry that I repeat this all the time, but I think it's very important. Okay, so we started a social diagnosis in different parts with different level of conflictivity to different actors, agrarian unions, conservation NGOs, pastoralist NGOs, extensive livestock affected by attacks and not affected by attacks, government managers, and so on. And we realized that there were two clear fronts that do not recognize the legitimacy of the other, simplify and mediate their speeches, only believe and use the data that proves that them are right, and blame the other party, no matter what they say. They are the others. We are the good ones, not the others. The compatibility between wolves and extensive livestock is an unsurpassed obstacle. Prevention measures are highly controversial in both parties, and the complexity of the problem is ignored by simplistic solutions that do not reflect the challenging. So this is the origin of the group Campo Grande, because we realized that there is need and space safe and where people can speak and argue with a mediation, a facilitation skills there. So this is a national level think tank, balanced and multi-agent and gender membership. There are conservation organizations, researchers, hunters, livestock farmers, agricultural unions, facilitators, and as you can see, it's not the government here, because they have already bilateral dialogues with conservationists, lobbies, with farmers, so we wanted first to make an agreement and then pass this to the government. So they participating initially as a personal point of view, because we didn't want the heavy weight of the organization speech, because even inside the organizations not everybody thinks the same, but with the compromise of function as a how to say, a correlation belt to spread the message among their organization, the need of dialogue and so on. So, well, we work with different tools, identifying agents, identifying toxic species, completing the map of factors, of course, and working on these toxic species, trying to see how to break all these invisible messages that we have in our mind, this type of truths that we will never discuss and that are playing a big role on this conflict. So, well, this was the task of the motor group. You see that they had a lot of work. So, arguments of conflict, cliches or toxic rhetorics, topics, supposed truths and preconceived ideas. Tell me if it rings a bell for you. Ecologists don't have a clue about the countryside. Yes. Livestock farmers lie and decide about the attacks. Scientists and experts are liars. They are avaricious farmers of the cup. They don't work, they don't care, they are lazy. No matter who will say. The countryside will be better off without domestic animals. The profiteering environmentalists who live on public money. Okay, so we took with this think tank the toxic discourse, we analyze the origin, we make a deeper analysis, and we try to give alternative proposals. Well, this is a very simplified thing, and we identify also which will be the red lines, and we identify these 7 lines. We prepare all the material that have been emerging from people from this tank on these 7 blocks. I will finish now, I promise. 1 minute, 50 seconds. Okay. And after this, we achieve a declaration with a lot of agreements, revealing what we observe, what were the proposals from the group. I brought some publications so you can consult them. And this agreement have the possibility of be signed, which means that we agree in general with these agreements, but of course there are still some things that maybe we are not 100% completely agree, but we think that this exercise of dialogue and understanding is important. And well, just to say that after this milestone, the group didn't want to break and go to an observatory for advice on mediation and continue serving the conflict and all these things, trying to test the measures in territory, advice to some regional governments, and so on. And if you want more information, you can just... And I am sorry!
We have time for one question. One question.
I was feeling some tensions there.
Exactly. Conflict people are the worst when it comes to this stuff.
Very quick one. How long did it take?
Yes, sorry. I was so quick that I could not say that. Okay, we started in 2016 and with the diagnosis, and then we were like, the premediation phase was until 2017-28, and we were 2 years with these discussion things, and now we continue working, but the milestone super top was in 2019. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.